Do you want to scale your business without burning out? Ask yourself this. What are you spending money on that doesn't make you money? Because overhead is the silent killer. And if you don't control it, you'll never reach the $20,000 a month goal. In one of our previous videos, we talked about the possibility of making $20,000 a month. Over the past few videos, we've been breaking down how to get there. In this video, we are focusing on overhead and how to manage it and how to keep it from dragging down your profits. As a reminder, these are the 4 key areas that we track on our P&L. Obviously, there are plenty of other things to track as well. These are the 4 key areas: marketing, cost of goods sold, overhead, and net profit. Overhead, it should roughly be about 10% of your revenue. That's on the high side. You should be able to get it much lower than that, but no more than 10%, specifically in a service-based business. So that means if you're bringing in $600,000, it should be no more than $60,000. That includes insurance, software, cell phones, office staff, all the supporting things that you have to help your business run smoothly behind the scenes. These are expenses that sometimes you don't have any control over. You need insurance. There's certain things that you need, but if you're not careful, it can get very bloated very quickly. One of the big mistakes I see people making all the time is hiring office help too early or adding on unnecessary expenses like a big office. You need to keep these expenses low. Keep your business mean and lean so you can navigate hard times. Once you're more established, then you can bring on some more help to help take some of the load off so you have more time. But remember, every dollar spent on overhead typically is a dollar that does not generate any revenue. Yes, eventually you can use overhead. You can bring in people to help buy back your time, but initially that is not the priority. How we think about overhead in my business. The goal is simple. Minimize overhead while maximizing productivity. Here's how I approach it. Ask yourself, is there someone else already on payroll that can do this task? Fill your calendar with only the most productive and revenue driving activities. Remove as many tasks as possible that don't directly drive revenue. Here are a few examples from my own business. Don't answer emails. Unless there's a specific problem or document that I need to look at, I don't check email. For the first 5 years, I had a personal driver. We have a video about how it helped me double my business. I don't take phone calls. Most of the time, it's someone calling to want to set an appointment or they have questions about something that I don't have in front of me. Most of the time, it's going to be better suited if it goes to one of my team members or if it comes to an email. I don't answer phone calls. And so unless it's a number I have saved in my phone, I don't answer. If it's a customer, they need to call the office so they can schedule. If they leave a voicemail, I'm going to forward that voicemail. If they're calling because there's an issue, then I will call that person back. But most of the time, it's not someone I really need to speak to. It's something that someone in the office could deal with much quicker and more efficiently. I don't schedule my own appointments. I don't do very much on my calendar. Most days I open my calendar, look at it, see what's there, because I don't know what's on my calendar because I didn't put it there. I have someone else managing my calendar for me. I don't implement projects myself. What does that mean? So identify problems or things that we need. Sometimes my team members will do that too, and they'll bring it to my attention and we'll brainstorm and figure out what needs to be done. Now I will look at it at a very high level. Sometimes I'll get a little bit in the weeds because we're not a giant company, but I will delegate as much of that process as I can. I will come in and spot check it. I'll go through the process, go through the experience to make sure that I like it and make sure it matches what the vision was. But I delegate as much of the project that I can once the project has kind of been built out and the framework has been built. Adam here. We don't ask for any money, but if you want to help us out and support our mission, please subscribe and share with a friend. Yes, I'm a big fan of hiring people to help streamline my life and my business, but there's a time and there's a right time to do it. It's not necessarily right out of the gate. You need to make sure that you have certain things established before you start building in all these other expenses. Most people are not going to care about your business the way that you do. And that's okay because it's your business. So it makes sense that you care more than everyone else. So that's why it's important that you stay close and you help systematize and organize things to make sure they're running smoothly, especially when it's a small business. If you have some giant multi-billion-dollar business, that's a different conversation. But when we're talking about a smaller home service business that's doing $10 million or less, you need to be closely involved so that you can make sure things are running efficiently, but you can still delegate certain activities and tasks out, but you just need to stay close so you know what's going on. If that's not your strength, I would encourage you to look at it and try to build up that muscle, that strength, because it's going to be hard to sustain success in the short term and the long term. Because if you don't have just a lot of extra money floating around, you're going to have to be involved in the process and try to help find the most efficient way of doing things. It doesn't help you to systematize or automate a bad system. So if you're not involved in it, and if you are bringing some of the insight on how to make it better, and someone else is just systematizing or automating a bad process, if you scale a bad process, it doesn't get better at scale. It just gets exponentially worse as you scale it. So it's really important that you're involved to make sure that that system is running really well. If you're a little larger company, you need to make sure that you hire the right people to make sure that they are overseeing and organizing and systematizing. So as it scales properly. Being an entrepreneur often means you're juggling lots of different things and you're keeping your eye on the end goal while still juggling and making adjustments as you go through the process. Even if you don't understand the technical side, so like if you're building a piece of software or you're updating your website, you may not understand all of the code, but you understand what the experience should look like. You need enough insight to know if someone's doing it well. Otherwise, you won't be able to tell if your team is doing it right, and that leaves you vulnerable. If it was easy, if you were able to just delegate every aspect of your business, then everybody would be an entrepreneur. But that's not the case. AI is definitely going to help and it's going to be a huge game changer, but there's still unique things that you will bring to it. Maybe it's the craft, maybe it's the actual art of what you're doing, or maybe it's setting up systems, but you got to find out what you do well and you have to make sure that you stay focused on that, and then you hire in people to help around those weak areas. But you don't want your overhead to get bloated. If you are serious about making $20,000 a month plus, then you need to cut the fat. Go through every overhead expense that you have and ask, does this help grow the business? Keep your overhead lean and your calendar full of things that drive revenue, and your focus on profit, not busy work. Remember, overhead doesn't build your business, you do. You don't need a big team or a fancy office to win. You just need discipline, and you need the ability to say no to waste. That's how we think about overhead. If you want to spend money, check out our marketing video. That's a video that will show you how to spend money that will actually make you money.